Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's April 1st, 2015. Let's get straight into our news tonight. We'll start with something that's no laughing matter, the drought in California. And now we have the article, California imposes first ever water restrictions to deal with drought. Very serious issue indeed. But the thing that's somewhat of a joke to me is while they will impose these water restrictions on the populace in general, we've seen companies, big companies like Nestle, they'll go out there and bottle the water in California and then sell it back to Californians. So it seems like they seem to be exempt from these very restrictions that are plaguing the rest of the state while they themselves are cashing in despite the record drought. So food for thought, just something to keep in mind when you go and make your purchases and when you are affected by this water drought in California. And it's not just people not having the proper water for themselves, but also livestock, farming equipment, other things like that, trying to grow the crops and all that out there in California. Now let's switch gears and talk about some recent updates with the Bergdahl situation. And now we have the report, Obama wanted to release Taliban 5 without Bergdahl in return. President Obama originally wanted to release the Taliban 5 as part of a largely one-sided exchange to empty out Guantanamo Bay, only asked for Bergdahl in return after he met with resistance from the intelligence community, according to a report cross-checked with other documents. And it goes on to say, on January 22, 2009, 5 months before Bergdahl found himself in Taliban captivity, President Obama signed Executive Order 13492 to launch the review and disposition of Guantanamo prisoners, including the Taliban 5. So what we see here is Mr. Obama was so eager to empty Guantanamo Bay, and I do give him the proper recognition for actually trying to shut down Guantanamo Bay, but I don't think you just empty it like this jailbreak scenario, just get rid of all the guys in there and not have a prisoner swap to coincide with that. So on one hand, I'm happy he's trying to shut it down, but the other hand, I don't think he's doing it exactly the proper way. And, you know, the jury's still out on Bergdahl. Many people have very strong opinions. You know, I've never been in war. I've never been accused of being deserters. So there's a lot of things that I'm eager to find out as this thing progresses. But for right now, Bergdahl doesn't seem to be too popular with the people I know who have served in the military, and only time will tell what exactly happens to him. But talking about other Obama actions, Obama plans executive order for UN climate rules. Of course, we know the United Nations, a big proponent of the global warming narrative, also President Obama as well. And do I recognize that climates change? Yes, climates change all the time. They've changed since the beginning of history. But I also don't think that paying carbon taxes to groups and individuals like Al Gore is going to do anything to save the planet. Do I recognize we have pollution problems? I most definitely do. But you think about these global warming alarmists, you don't talk about we're alarmists here, but no, when you say something like if the polar ice caps melted and then you're gonna have 21 feet of water in Florida or over there in California, yeah, it's been years since those predictions have been made, and thus that I know of, that has not happened. Many other examples as well. They say, well, what about all the floods and the hurricanes and the tornadoes? There have always been hurricanes and floods and tornadoes. Then people would say, well, it's worse now. We have definitive proof. We have worse floods now than we've had at any other point in history. Oh, if you ever, took a look at the Bible and you saw there's a pretty big flood that, killed everything on the planet, minus a few animals and the people on the boat. But, if that's your position on it, you're welcome to it. But regardless if you believe me or you believe anybody else, just don't pay these people carbon taxes. If we can agree on that, you can believe whatever else that you want to believe. We'll move on now to some drills. We've been talking about the Jade Helm drills. We've also spoken about the drills that have happened in Miami, Florida. They do drills out there. Also, we've seen the zombie apocalypse training out there in California. I'm not making that up. Now, when I say the zombie apocalypse training, I don't think they're really training for a zombie apocalypse. They just made it kind of fun and trendy to get the locals to go along with it. But now we see a DHS-funded drill simulates a nuke attack on the U.S.-Mexico border. The drill, which involved numerous police and fire departments, as well as the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army, included an exercise where thousands of people were in need of decontamination and oxygen. So basically, a nuke goes off on the border of U.S.-Mexico, and you have a bunch of people going over either way, and I believe this particular drill simulated people coming over into our country. But we already have record number of people coming into our country without the new crisis. So I'm wondering how well this thing is going to be received, or what training they've actually learned from dealing with all the mass influx of people coming over here for whatever reason. You know, whether they were fleeing oppression for whatever reason, they thought they could come here and get a better job, whatever. But yeah, I'm just not exactly sure what exactly they're planning to accomplish with this, or if they have some type of inside information. Now, do I believe that there's a nuke attack imminent? No, I do not. But, you know, if they're training for it, they definitely view it as some type of probability. So they're doing whatever they have to do to prepare for that. And let's talk about being prepared. You go to school to prepare yourself for a career. And I remember I used to get in arguments with people. And actually, one of my first jobs in media back when I worked in Kansas, and I sit there with the sports guys, and they would meet somebody. We'd just be out somewhere, you know, having dinner or whatever. And they would talk about people going from high school to the pros, you know, playing pro sports and stuff like that. And the sports guys were like, well, what's the point of going to college? You go to college to prepare yourself for the career that you want to have that's amazing and fun and all these other things. And if you can achieve that without going to college, why wouldn't you just go and do that? Well, college is such an experience. College is this, college is that. You know what's an experience? Winning the Super Bowl. You know what's an experience? Representing your team or your country in the Olympics. That's an experience, not sitting around with a bunch of trendies smoking weed and playing Xbox at 2 in the morning. But to each his own, you do what you want to do. I went to college, and luckily I left pretty much unscathed. I left college with about less than $6,000 in debt. Now, most people don't. Most people who get a 4-year degree have I think the average is $29,000. I saw in a recent report, just to say about $30,000 in debt. I say all that to say this. I kind of jumped ahead of myself. I want to talk about the things that you don't get in college, and that is the right to free speech. University requires students to apply for free speech permits. The public university recently required student Nicholas Tomas, who was handing out flyers, to not only get a free speech permit, but also seek approval from school officials over the content of his handouts and to restrict his activity to a campus free speech zone. And we see these more and more often. They had a free speech zone at the Bundy Ranch, also had one in Ferguson. They said, hey, you guys stand over here. We're like, well, sir, I can't see, you know, the tyranny that's going on down there, the tear gas and the rubber bullets. I'm too far away. I can't see it. Well, just stay here. So we run around back and we got down there, got tear gas for our efforts. But regardless, you're seeing these things. Yes, you can have your free speech on this public university between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and they have to check your flyers. And, you know, long gone are the days where people be out there burning bras or save the whales or whatever they're trying to get their message across. Even if you don't agree with their message, you know, they have the right at a public university to go out there and hand out flyers and all that. But they're saying, no, we're going to take your free speech from you. So I guess along with that very hefty tuition bill, you're also learning that you don't really have rights in the United States of America. And now, as I was getting ahead of myself earlier, we'll talk about the college bubble. And we have the college debt bubble is collapsing. Now, 33% of all student loans are delinquent on repayments. And as I said earlier, you have the average student loan, I believe, for a 4-year degree being about just say $30,000. And now people are realizing that, hey, you know, I went to school and I was promised all this stuff, and I get out of college, and even if I have a degree, I got to go work at Cracker Barrel. And I like the food at Cracker Barrel, but, you know, it's not someplace you want to work if you have a 4-year college degree. And we'll end tonight with this before we go into more special reports. 7 questions every college student should ask about financial aid. And this is just basic common sense stuff. One of the examples here is, how much of my financial aid package is loan or work steady? And things that people should know if you decide to go to college, especially if you take out student loans. And I think college is great for people who want to be doctors or engineers. But, you know, things like filmmaking. I know I saw this documentary recently. They said at UCLA, it's easier to get in the medical program than it is to get in the film program because you have so many students that are trying to get in. It's this huge influx of people. But if you think about guys like Robert Rodriguez, regardless of what you think of his more recent films, he's a guy who taught himself how to go out and shoot, and he had some great films because of that. So I think that, yeah, you can go out and do this stuff on your own. Now, if you go to school, it may be easier, you know, to rub the elbows, get the connections and all that. But just having the willpower to go out there and do it, you can learn a lot of this stuff on your own. And myself, as well as many of the people here at work at INFOWARS, we may have been trained in certain aspects, but we also took our skills and things that we learned and went out and did it on our own to get better at perfecting the craft. So I'll leave you with that. And also, I talked to Callan Diggs a few weeks ago, I guess a few months ago. So you guys can go find that report on INFOWARS.com. We just had a real open discussion, open dialogue about the college system and ways to avoid getting in these monstrous amounts of debt. So stay tuned. Coming up after this break, we'll have a special report from John Bound detailing the recent death in the Getty family, and also from the vault, Alex Jones special report detailing the emergency alert system.
INFOWARS Life and INFOWARSLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfoWarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit InfoWars.com today or call 888-253-3139. The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com.
Inside of the house, they located a body of a male individual, Caucasian, mid-40s, who appeared to be deceased. They contacted paramedics. LA City paramedics responded, checked the individual, and confirmed that he was in fact deceased inside of the house.
Andrew Getty, grandson and heir to the fortune of oil baron J. Paul Getty, is dead. A law enforcement source told the LA Times that Getty was found naked from the waist down in the bathroom of his Hollywood Hills estate and appeared to have suffered from some type of blunt force trauma. It's unclear whether the injury was caused by a fall or something else. A woman found in the Los Angeles home when Getty's body was discovered by police is being questioned. The same woman, Andrew Getty, worth $2.1 billion, sought a restraining order against 2 weeks ago. In 1966, the Guinness Book of World Records named J. Paul Getty the world's richest private citizen. Getty's legacy as a hoarder of wealth and antiquities is unparalleled. He was so miserly it cost him his grandson's right ear when he would not pay the Italian gangsters the $17 million ransom they demanded. During the Great Depression, Getty shrewdly diversified his ownings, picking up American oil companies. Oil reserves were discovered in Saudi Arabia in 1938. Just 11 years later, J. Paul Getty plunked down $9.5 million in cash on a tract of barren land on the border of Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. $30 million, and 4 years later, that tract was producing 16 million barrels a year. The Russian oil Goliath, Buchan, bought Getty Oil in 2000, sold it in 2011, and Getty Petroleum Oil spiraled into bankruptcy.
An LA County coroner says the death appears to be from natural causes. It was originally thought to be accidental because of medication found at the scene.
Why blunt force trauma? Why is a hostile woman cooperating with the LAPD? Why were there massive amounts of blood all over the crime scene? And last but